10 scary paranormal videos that'll most likely give you nightmares. The official NBC 26 news station YouTube channel uploaded a creepy piece on a supposedly haunted building in Baltimore back in late 2019.
A Fells Point cornerstone, Bertha's, is famous for their food and drink, their bumper stickers, their altered stickers, and for this.
So do you talk to the ghost?
I do.
Every day?
Well, no, that was way back then.
Laura Norris is one of the owners. When working upstairs, she says she's felt its presence and even asked for safe passage.
And so I kind of stammered and said, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going home. Bye-bye.
In fact, there are so many ghosts here in the wind.
With the tails up and their fur all bushy.
One ghost story follows another.
You can see that it actually was a face.
But it's one thing to talk about it, and quite another to see one.
Yeah, this is it.
Melissa Rowell gives ghost tours that start at Bertha's. Recently, one of her clients sent her this photo. Okay, no biggie, but look closely at the third floor window. What's that?
I haven't seen those pictures.
Here, let me point out a few things. The vague image of a little girl, her hands stretched out through the window. That's what people are seeing, and it coincides with a ghost story from here.
And people have seen the same little girl skipping in the other room.
Do you feel anything?
No. Do you?
I'm open-minded about it.
Tony is Laura's husband, the other co-owner. Ghosts? Sure. He's heard a lot of stories in his bar.
My friend Bob saw ghosts constantly when he worked by himself upstairs.
It's definitely coming out of the window. You can see the building behind her hand. Yeah.
Who's the ultimate judge? You are. Ghost? Optical illusion? One thing's for certain. That third floor area is sealed off. No one was up there the night that picture was taken.
A very creepy image that appears to show a partial apparition reaching out of a third-story window, despite that particular area of the building being sealed off at the time. Also, something else that can't quite be explained, near the beginning of the news piece, a branch or leaf can be seen bending back upwards in an unnatural way as the two people talk on the street. Watch closely.
And for this.
So do you talk to the ghost?
I do.
Every day?
Well, no, that was way back then.
Laura Norris is one of the owners.
Could this place be haunted? Could this image show proof that ghosts exist? You decide that for yourself. Seth, Borden, and Exploring with Josh teamed up with Steve and Dylan from the Haunted Nights to investigate the haunted USS Salem ghost ship. During their late-night investigation, they found themselves experiencing some of the scariest moments they've ever recorded. While attempting to learn the name of one of the past captains of the ship, they caught evidence on camera that is almost undeniable proof that ghosts actually do exist. Here are just a few isolated incidents from their night.
The thing is, it's not detecting any other chair.
So it can't be the chairs.
And why is that still going off?
Yeah, that could just be residual though. Could you had to think how many people walk through this hallway?
Helpless.
Helpless. They're helpless.
Oh, we're helpless.
That's way worse. Some touch it?
My hair just got touched. I literally just felt my hair get
He said every time he came out here, he got his hair pulled when he had long hair.
If you saw it on camera, but I felt it. Holy shit.
That one might have got it.
Yeah, we'll mind you.
Oh, good point. Flashlight's on.
Helpless.
Helpless. They're helpless.
Oh, we're helpless.
That's way worse. Some touch it.
My hair just got touched.
Alice.
Alice?
Alice?
Alice.
A woman's name, right after we heard a woman's voice.
From orbs darting by, to Seth's hair being touched, and even unknowingly capturing what appears to be a partially formed apparition appearing in a doorway, the guys caught it all. However, what you've seen here is just the beginning. I suggest checking out the full 44-minute video over on Seth's YouTube channel, where you'll see some of the spookiest stuff ever. I was watching an episode of Benefits Britain, a 6-part documentary series that follows people in the UK who live below the poverty line on state benefits. A woman named Lorna shared her creepy experiences she's had inside the house the state issued her. I won't play the clip for copyright reasons, however, Lorna shared with the film crew that she's had an uninvited something in the house for about 4 years now. In the video, Lorna explains how her sister came around to the house one day to try on a dress. Lorna took a couple of old school photos on a film camera and soon realized that she had caught more than she had bargained for. In the background, on the bed, you can see a very small but very creepy looking black figure laying at the end of the bed, eyes wide open, belly partially visible. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at, but it is spooky. Lorna somehow has also received deep bruising on her back and even found unexplainable videos on her cell phone. Lorna states that she thinks she has some type of negative entity in the house, perhaps even what some people would call a demon. A very creepy moment in a show that usually has absolutely nothing to do with the paranormal. If you're actually interested in watching this segment, I'll leave a link and timestamp below in this video description. The following video was recorded by a woman who lives on the Kapiti Coast in New Zealand. The surreal video shows a burning, driverless bus start up and move away from a nearby house.
Oh, that's a scary thing. They should be here faster than that. Oh my god! Jesus Christ. God, that was lucky that wasn't anything there. I've never seen that before.
I've never seen. I wonder if it's my wife taking me away from the thing. No.
Yeah.
There's someone on board. No, there's nobody on board, no.
In the video, we can see a driverless bus engulfed in flames, sitting stationary on the side of a road. Then, suddenly, to the onlooker's surprise, the bus starts its own engine once again and drives across to the other side of the road.
Oh my god!
The eerie clip surprised not only the worried onlookers but the viewers of this video as well, some of them suggesting that the bus might be haunted, or saying that something paranormal was going on here. However, someone states in the original upload that this is almost certainly just a short in the starter motor, causing the bus to start up again after already being in gear. However, that doesn't exactly explain why the wheels were turning like that. Leave your thoughts on this one in the comment section down below. Jaime Primak Sullivan, a Hollywood publicist, producer and editor, typically uploads videos on life, love and learning how to love oneself. However, in March of 2015, Jaime shared a very different video on her YouTube that her viewers thought was amazing. While talking to her daughter about her grandmother, Jaime recorded something that she will probably remember for life.
Do you remember my grandma? Where is my grandma? Where is she?
Up in heaven. What did she do to make her go up in heaven? Did she do a smoker?
No, she didn't do a smoker.
What?
She was just very old. She was almost 93, and her body just got very tired. She was too old.
How old was she?
93.
Like this old? Or this old?
That old. Sometimes if you get really, really old, then you go home to God.
What if you got really, really old?
Then I will go home to God.
I don't want you.
I know, but it won't be for a long time. Okay?
Well, your grandmas were up here for a long time.
I know.
Because she was super duper old.
That's right. I love you.
Oh! Was she, did your grandma almost couldn't walk?
She was old. She could walk, but she was old. Okay?
Mommy, your grandma's here. And she says, hi, Jaime.
What?
Your grandma's here. And she says, hi, Jaime.
The two of them are discussing Jamie's grandmother, who had recently passed away 5 or 6 months earlier, when all of a sudden her daughter brings her a message from the other side. Jamie's daughter says that her grandmother is there with them and that she says, hi Jamila. Jamila being a nickname that only Jamie's grandmother used to use. As you can see in the video, Jamie is shocked to hear this and the video cuts off right there.
Okay.
Mommy, your grandma's here. And she says, hi, Jaime.
What?
Your grandma's here. And she says, hi, Jaime.
This short TikTok was uploaded by Carla Acosta. The creepy clip shows the aftermath of a crash. But don't worry, there isn't any gore or disturbing images. However, we do see something that left a lot of past viewers confused. Take a look at this and see if you can spot what everyone else did. The main text on screen roughly translates to, I was watching this unfortunate accident and I saw something strange. If you missed it or couldn't quite make it out, there appears to be a woman or man dressed in a light purple or even blue coat that seems to emerge as if out of nowhere. Not only that, but their face seems to be very creepy, almost elongated in a way. They also appear translucent near the end of the clip. The second lot of text you see right at the end of the video asks what we, the viewer, think of the video. Some viewers of the original upload think that the video might just show the spirit of the person who lost their life in the car crash, while others think that this is nothing more than just a regular bystander just trying to help out the emergency crews. What's your guess? The YouTube channel Fourth Wall has uploaded another scary video showing someone walking through an abandoned house in the middle of the night. The person behind the channel said that they got an email from the owner of the house saying that some very strange things had been happening around the place. This is just a small snippet of what they were sent.
これが押し入れです。これが京子さんが言ってた箱だと思います。
After finding a small black box, the person recording the video pans around the house after hearing something. What they capture is hair-raising. Follow the YouTube channel Fourth Wall for the full story and any upcoming creepy videos. Kat McQuan uploaded this photo to Facebook asking her friends for their suggestions. The original post wrote, "Hey guys, I just want to get your input on this photo. It was taken about 20 years ago. It was a pic of my 2 daughters, but there seems to be something else in the photo." As one of Kat's commenters suggested, it almost looks like a woman can be seen in the background, one arm up, wearing clothing from the early 1900s. No doubt none of the people present for the photo that day had any idea that such a creepy image was being captured. The following clip was uploaded to Facebook by Ben Lewis. He states that this upcoming video was recorded behind a couple of buildings in his local area. The security camera footage appears to have recorded a person on a skateboard, as they seem to just roll by. However, from what the original poster has been told, this might be something much creepier. It's been said that this area of town is home to, quote, a family of ghosts. Something that has been heard many times over, but never seen. Perhaps this video might finally show the presence of at least one of the ghosts rumored to haunt the immediate area for years. Frank from the YouTube channel Franko TV recently uploaded a video where he returns back to a cemetery where he once unknowingly caught something spooky on camera. Upon his arrival, Frank this time not only captures one thing he can't explain, but a few, including something that appears to give Frank's viewers the creeps. Watch carefully.
I'm gonna start heading towards the suicide area where people end their lives. I don't want to look at this place. See if I could probably get some stock footage from it or something. What the hell is that? Hold on. I saw something small there. I wonder if I got the reflection of that from the doorway, because from the road area I'm actually parked right around here and I'm looking this way. Okay, so I swear I saw a face right around here, or I seen something right here peeking out.
Frank is discussing how he could possibly create some stock footage out of what he is filming, when all of a sudden he records what appears to be a face peering out from inside a crypt or mausoleum. Frank then goes to check it out but finds nothing in there, which is weird because you can clearly see something peeking or peering out just moments earlier. Check out the YouTube channel Franko TV for the full video and everything else he caught on camera that night. The following creepy video comes from the Long Arms pub in Wiltshire, England. One of their CCTV cameras caught the bizarre moment a glass or two bursts into dozens of small pieces right in front of the landlord's wife.
Especially from like a 96-year-old body that looks so vain. Well, yeah, if you don't see it, you can probably won't see it again. There you go.
A pub dubbed by locals as the town's most haunted has released the footage at the beginning of 2022. Confused viewers are sure that something creepy or paranormal could be happening here. Landlord Rob Alcock said that he couldn't stop watching it. Since posting the video on Twitter, many people have hypothesized that something must have fallen down on top of the glass, but many others say that that's just impossible. What do you think's happened here?
Especially from like a 96-year-old granny that works all day.
There you go.
The man behind the Chinese YouTube channel Supernatural Space uploaded a spooky video recently in August after exploring a long-abandoned school out in the mountains. About 2/3 of the way through the video, the recorder hears a bunch of strange noises coming from the other end of a corridor. This is what he captured.
操你妈的！
At the end of the hallway, we can see what seems to be a figure in red. The explorer yells out to whatever or whoever this is. However, after doing so, the unknown figure slides back in behind a wall. The original uploader Supernatural Space believes that they might just have caught a ghost on camera that night, as the building is out in the middle of nowhere, miles from anything else. But, of course, what do you think? The Winchester Mystery House is a mansion in San Jose, California, that was once the personal residence of Sarah Winchester, the widow of the firearms magnate William Winchester. In 1884, Sarah purchased an unfinished farmhouse in the Santa Clara Valley and began building her mansion. Carpenters were hired to work on the house night and day until it rose to 7 stories high. No one is quite sure why Mrs. Winchester demanded constant changes to her very large house. However, the most prevalent story is that Mrs. Winchester was being haunted by the spirits of those killed by the Winchester rifle, which her late husband's company had invented and sold. After her husband passed away, a psychic told her to evade the spirits, Sarah would have to move out west, buy a home and build non-stop, otherwise she would die. The following 2 short clips come from the official Winchester Mystery House YouTube channel, the first of which shows mysterious singing coming from inside the house. Listen very closely. Although it's almost impossible to hear without headphones, there appears to be a faint, disembodied singing voice in the distance. On another occasion, some 8 years ago, a chandelier was caught swinging on its own in a room that can't be accessed during anyone's tour. 2 very creepy videos from a house with a terrifying backstory. Be sure to check out the official Winchester Mystery House YouTube channel for more. Or better yet, their website where you can buy tickets and plan your own visit. A show called The Extraordinary was an Australian television documentary series that featured stories of the paranormal and supernatural. It ran on the 7 network from 1993 to 1996. The show was hosted by a man named Warwick Moss, who would narrate to the audience true-life tales of the paranormal. In one particular episode, a certain segment discussed the ghost stories from within the old Melbourne jail, a former jail and current museum, a place with a lot of history that held and executed some of Australia's most notorious criminals. Take a listen.
Good evening. I'm Warwick Moss. Bushranger Ned Kelly was just one of many criminals put to death in the infamous Melbourne jail. A notorious place of death and suffering, the jail was home to gruesome acts of punishment and retribution. Most of the sad souls who faced the executioner left the prison, but some may have stayed on to walk its corridors forever. Old Melbourne Jail has a harsh and brutal history. From the day it opened in 1845 to the day it closed in 1929, more than 50,000 prisoners languished behind its cold and forbidding walls. Today, it's a museum packed with macabre exhibits, reminders of the 100 men and 4 women who were sent to the scaffold here and died by the hangman's noose. A cruel but swift dispatch, according to the museum manager, Amanda Baker.
The hangman would have visited the prisoner in the cell, and that's to measure the strength of their neck and to weigh them to make sure that the length of the rope was the right length so that they were hanged correctly. If the rope was too long, then the head would come away from the body when the hanging was done, and if the rope was too short, then the person would be strangled rather than hanged, and hanging was breaking the neck. It was like that.
Among those who met their end in Melbourne Jail was Australia's most famous, or infamous, bushranger, Ned Kelly. He walked these dark, dank corridors for the last time on November the 11th, 1880. That is the gruesome. But now, more than a century later, there are the ghostly attractions, which beckon from the cells of old Melbourne Jail. Unexplained happenings by day and by night. Amanda Baker wasn't one to believe in ghost stories. At least, not until she took over as manager of the museum 7 years ago. Now, she's not so sure.
When I first started here at the jail, the manager at the time, he told me about a lady who used to come in, and every time she came in, she'd stand at one end of the cell block and look towards the other end, and she'd see these 3 figures of what she thought were women, and it happened every single time. I never met this woman. All I did was hear this story from my previous manager.
And staff, too, have had weird experiences. Experiences that stretch the imagination and defy logic.
We have a tour guide here called Bob. He's been with us for about 5 years, and he was starting his tour up on the stairs back there, and somebody asked him straight off the top, said, "Oh, are there any ghosts here?" And he said, "Oh no," he said, "nothing that we've experienced." And at that time, there's a cell just sort of directly to the side of him while he was doing his tour, and the light flashed off, on, off, on, and that was just the one light. Now we found that there was nothing wrong with the globe, and for that to happen, for it to be a circuit failure or anything like that, had to happen to all these cells on this side, as they're all on the same electricity circuit.
But it was a personal encounter that caused Amanda Baker to really question what was going on inside this place, where so many suffered and so many died.
I left the cell that night, I got my coat and everything was in order, and I closed the door and I went out and locked the door behind me and went home. Then I came in the next morning and I was the first one in, and I went in to hang up my coat and I look on the ground and there's the sugar canister smashed in the middle of the floor. There's also, we had a basket hanging up on the wall and that was also on the floor. There was no reason for that. There was no wind or no nothing could ever get into that cell from when I closed it the night before. There's no explanation as we would know it. The sugar canister I found, it was on the floor, it was smashed and the glass wasn't everywhere. It was all sort of neat in a nice little pile, but there's no explanation except for something, a being in here.
Sometimes, even in the light and safety of the museum shop, Savarina Stella also ponders the ghosts of Melbourne jail. Especially the night she was left alone to lock up. First, for no apparent reason, a light bulb shattered. Then, 10 minutes later, she began hearing strange noises.
I realised it sounded like sobbing, and it was really hard sobbing, someone really crying for some reason, I don't know why. Well, I was the only person in the building and I couldn't understand why I could hear this noise, and it sounded as though it was either a child or a woman. And I thought, oh no, don't tell me I'm experiencing something unnatural and I'm hearing some ghost or something in here. I don't go around saying it was a ghost, but at the same time I don't go around saying it's not. I tell a lot of people strange things do happen in here, that I work here 5 days a week and I can't start believing in ghosts, otherwise I'd probably go crazy. But I'm not going to say that they don't exist, because there is something in here.
Monique Weir also believes there could be something or someone lurking in the jail. And maybe she has the evidence to prove it. Monique is a keen photographer and saw the old prison as a perfect subject. On the day in question, she was absolutely certain she was alone in this section of the cell block. She fired off a series of photographs and later sent the roll of film to be developed.
And when I got it back, I sort of didn't notice it first, and then had another closer look and thought, oh, there's something really weird here. But I just sort of shook it off. I'm a bit sort of, don't really believe in ghosts or anything like that. And it wasn't until a few other people started to have a look at it that they realised that there was probably something there.
That's something again. But what? Well, in one print, there seems to be a misty, floating object that wasn't visible through the camera's viewfinder. And in another, a more defined figure.
On the left-hand side was this man, well, it looked like a man, back of a man, quite tall, with a big overcoat on, it looked like. And he looked like he had really broad shoulders. And that's sort of really all I could see. He was quite sort of transparent, and you can only see the top and not the bottom.
At first, Monique was sceptical and checked the negatives in her own darkroom. The figures were on them too. So she took the photographs back to the processing lab for a second opinion.
Oh, they were quite freaked out about it. They could see that it was on the negative and it wasn't anything that was done in the printing process. Yeah, they were really quite freaked out.
When the old jail finally closed 65 years ago, no doubt there was a collective sigh of relief amongst the caring souls of Melbourne. A hope that the days of torture and brutality were over, dead and buried, like so many of its former inmates.